Hello everybody, it's your boy Hawka, the Counter-Strike Scholar, back with another video, this time taking a look at MIBR's upset win against Na'Vi. CSGO is back, and it has been a pretty wild start to the season with a bunch of upsets. In general, I think the quality of CS is going to improve over time. I don't think a lot of teams have come back at their best, but we still have to give credit to the teams who got these upset wins. And so I figured I'd take a look back at the demo to see how MIBR caused this massive upset against Na'Vi. We start with the pistol round and a pretty standard long take with 5 players initially for MIBR. And then they all swing onto the site with the P250 of Jota looking for this long-range kill, which forces Boomich back. From here, we get standard cross smokes for MIBR, and I love the patience they have here crossing to the site. They wait out the spam through the smoke initially, then they also don't instantly commit to the bomb plant either. They fake it out, baiting out some utility, and also baiting out this peek from Boomich, which they were waiting for. From here, now the nades are gone, they can get the bomb down in an advantageous position, and the trades are okay on towards the site, but the main man to watch is Exit, who was on long, grouped up with the team initially, but he realizes playing the post plant all from the site might not be the best idea, goes for this massive flank through mid and short, which is completely unexpected by Na'Vi, and is a really nice move to throw in to lock in this pistol round win. Into the second round, this time Jota has the long spawn, and I don't believe he hears the flash that Na'Vi throw in this round, but after he sees the molly towards blue container, he knows Na'Vi are fairly likely to want to contest long, and that they probably have weaker weapons, so may want to flash. So he plays anti-flash and turns around beautifully to get these 2 kills and get another round effectively secured. And again, not much to say here in round 3 either against the low buy, but I do want you to take note of just how frequent it is for MIBR to be fully grouping quite early in the round for their pushes, because this was the pack mentality style of CS that they used really effectively here to get a good start against Na'Vi. This first gun round has some really cool team decision making from MIBR. They go for a fairly standard short take to start the round, but they can just consistently hear Simple spamming this AWP through the mid doors. And because it's the first gun round, you know it's unlikely there's a double AWP setup here for Na'Vi. So MIBR take a calculated risk. Because they've heard this AWP mid, Turtle decides it's worth peeking A long dry, which is a play you would never normally make. But because they think it's unlikely there's an AWP here, they can go for this dry peek and get into a position that Na'Vi won't be expecting, because normally you'd expect a flash for this sort of position. And that means Simple just walks into Turtle's crosshair and he gets a really easy opener. And this also puts Boomich in a terrible position because he is always the long player. So MIBR know there's a second player close by, and Turtle wins a further fight to give them a great advantage. Unfortunately for MIBR, the coordination on the site push in this round isn't ideal, as despite Turtle already jumping up towards the site, both of his teammates on long pull out mollies as he starts the push, and that sets up this easy multi-kill for Electronic on players who don't even have their weapons out. Skipping ahead a couple of rounds to round 7, we get Exit throwing the long corner smoke and Flash himself to get that early control with the entire MIBR team. But this is where Na'Vi start to adapt to that heavily grouped up playstyle. Boomich and Electronic make a move out through mid and peek lower tunnels at the same time, and that allows Electronic to push all the way up into tons, and for Boomich to start moving up into top mid. Because MIBR is so grouped, there isn't anyone holding these positions. With this info though, Na'Vi starts shifting away from B. And so with Jota still making noise on long, a 4-man squad of MIBR group back up towards tunnels, and obviously this initial shot helps massively. Getting this kill gets them the chance to get out onto the site. But it's a good example of how even when Na'Vi were to go aggressive, the grouped up playstyle of MIBR could still work on site takes. Although, again, unfortunately, this is another example of a round where they aren't able to put the pieces together, even though they had a strong post-plant position. Into round 9, MIBR are on a lower buy, and Simple tries to push up mid, but gets domed by BRNZan. And this leaves Na'Vi in an uncomfortable 4v5 scenario, where they decide to give up A long and focus on A short control initially, and they continue to try to work together across the map, but Boomich rotating into CT ends up being costly, as he starts to hear the steps running up short, but MIBR are just way quicker than Na'Vi are expecting here. And you see just how Boomich gets caught in this open position. They don't have long control, so he can't get round the corner safely, and he ends up getting caught out in the open by Jota. This really highlights how hard it can be to play Dust 2 when you go down a man early. And then to lock in the round, it is yet another one of these flanks from Exit, really biding his time and showing the composure in this scenario to finally pull the trigger and win an all-important low-buy round for MIBR. These opening kills were just consistently a huge part of MIBR's success on this T side. Here's another example in the very next round where MIBR get the standard early short control, and then Woody gets to establish himself on this incredibly tight angle where he lands a fantastic shot initially. And again, it's the same story for Na'Vi, where when you have two players on A like this, just having one player hold long and one player hold short is oftentimes really hard to do because it's hard for those players to synergize. So they try and go aggressive with two players towards short, but this constant group up pack mentality of MIBR was a really good counter to this. And you see here just some solid trades and a very easy A-side take. By the time we get late into the half, here in round 13, I think Na'Vi have been conditioned to expect these grouped up plays by this point, and so went for some big rotations. MIBR do get kind of fortunate timing here, where they're throwing their own flash as Electronic gets flashed in, so Turtle's playing anti-flash as both of these flashes pop. That allows him to get a nice early kill. But you can see just how heavy the response from Na'Vi is, assuming that they need to instantly rotate over to A and also push through the mid doors. And that allows for Jota to just hear these steps, control this first fight easily, and it ends up being a really easy call for MIBR to cancel any potential A play and just come back into CT. I'm pretty sure Jota also heard Bit rotating through, so they knew it was completely clear, and they go on to take another convincing round. Switching over to CT's side, it actually felt like Na'Vi was starting to gain control of this game. I do love how here in this round, BRNZan is using the AUG in towards window, and he almost uses it like an AWP here. Just getting this first pick with the scope for long range, falling off the angle to find another position where he can just hold the line for a second frag and put his team up into an advantageous 3v2. But that B site of Dust 2 can be difficult to retake, and MIBR aren't able to get this successful retake despite keeping another close round. This next round is really the one that probably won MIBR this game. Down on a low buy, I love that BRNZan takes a risk here pushing lower tunnels. He heard the AWP of Simple on the other side, and Na'Vi are just not expecting someone to take such a massive risk just pushing out mid like this despite knowing an AWP could be holding it. So he's able to sneak into lower tunnels early and get some really good timing to drop the bomb in the back. And then Jota, who is part of MIBR's B stack in this round, does such a brilliant job at just surviving behind this big box for as long as possible, and also coming over to the side of the box where the T's are going to be more exposed to tunnels if they push his position. And that allows BRNZan to get into position with his AWP. They're able to double up with the bomb in their hands and steal away a crazy round win, mostly just off the back of that BRNZan flank and risk to just push through mid early. Getting later into the game, Na'Vi end up putting a lot of pressure on mid, but this flash from Jota for BRNZan to peek ends up being timed to perfection to drop the bomb out of the hands of Simple early. And this seems to throw Na'Vi off their rhythm quite a lot, as they decide to still put two smokes into the A site despite not having much utility left, even though the bomb is behind them, and I don't think they're really in position to push here. Despite this, they're able to turn it back into a 4v4, but this is where Turtle's aggression towards long is so key in winning the round. He takes this fight having heard a lot of steps towards mid, and now Na'Vi are in a terrible position where they only have short control, no real nades to approach this bomb site. Woody gets a nice easy kill initially, only having to focus on short, and he even gets a flash assist behind him from Turtle to pretty much seal the deal on this round. And then the final round is also a really cool one. Turtle gets into position on long early, but Woody comes back and throws what kind of looks like the long retake utility by flashing over, smoking door, and mollying blue bin. And this means that Boomich is fully focused on that corner side of long instead of this shallow angle that Turtle is in, so this is the freest kill you're gonna get. These nades also allow Jota to double up on long with Turtle, and eventually that slowly but surely turns into another kill onto Electronic. And despite Na'Vi trying to come back to B by this point, Exit just survives on this B site for so long. The Na'Vi players in tunnels aren't comfortable pushing, so he just waits for Bit to show himself, and this ends up being a scenario where Simple is just going to get run down at the end of the game, and MIBR have used just really good fundamentals to win this map. This was definitely a deserved win, even if Na'Vi were making some mistakes. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, why not check out another one? This video here is me taking a look at ROPS on FaZe and why I think that's going to be a great move. And this one over here is what YouTube thinks you'll like. Oh, and also subscribe. You made it to the end of the video, so you must have enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.